Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking the Word. We are in the book of Numbers right now, and for the next 2 days, we're going to talk about chapter 34 of Numbers, and that has to do with boundaries. Today is boundaries part 1. Tomorrow will be boundaries part 2. Okay, and you're going to see tomorrow or today. It's entitled Boundaries Part 1. Israel never claimed all the land God gave them, and then tomorrow we talk about God has placed boundaries in our lives here. So let's read here chapter 34. Again, I'm going to be reading the whole chapter, but it's only 29 verses long today, so it shouldn't be super long today. But I wanted to talk about the boundaries that was laid out for the people of Israel. Keep in mind, this is like in the previous chapter, we talked about their journey all the way, leaving Egypt. And it was a lot of cities and towns and everything. They covered a lot of territory. Now they're at the border of Canaan. And God is saying, these are the boundaries of the promised land that I'm giving you. Okay? And so he lays out what those borders are here. So let's read here today. This is Numbers 34. The Lord said to Moses, command the Israelites and say to them, when you enter Canaan and the land that I will be allotted to you as an inheritance is to have these boundaries. Your southern side will include some of the desert of Zin, along with the border of Edom. Your southern boundary will start in the east from the southern end of the Dead Sea. Cross south of the Scorpion Pass, continue on to Zin, and go south to Kadesh Barnea. Then it will go to Hazar Adir, and over to Azmon, where it will turn and join the Wadi of Egypt and end at the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so he starts with the southern boundary, and he's describing it because you didn't have necessarily maps and stuff back then, or an aerial view or a satellite image or anything, but God is describing to Moses, this is the area, and he's given descriptions of what that boundary is, and a lot of times those descriptions are like the ocean or the sea, and then this town and so forth. Okay, let's go on to the western boundary, verse 6. Your western boundary will be the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. This will be the boundary on the west. For your northern boundary, run a line from the Mediterranean Sea to the Mount Hor, and from Mount Hor to Lebo Hamath. Then the boundary will go to Zeded, continued to Zephon, and the end of Hazar Enan. This will be your boundary on the north. For the eastern boundary, run a line from Hazoth Enan to Shepham. The boundary will go down from Zephon to Reblah on the east side of En and continue along the slopes to the east of Sea of the Galilee. Then the boundary will go down along the Jordan and end at the Dead Sea. This will be your land and its boundaries on every side. Moses commanded the Israelites, assign this land by lot as an inheritance that the Lord has ordered that it be given to the 9.5 tribes, because the families of the tribes of Reuben and the tribe of Gad and the half-tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance. These 2.5 tribes have received their inheritance east of the Jordan, across from Jericho, toward the sunrise. Now, those 2.5 tribes, it was God's plan that they would all be in the promised land here. But those 2.5 tribes, remember, they get to the border and they say, oh, you know what? We like this land. We're not going to go into the promised land with you. We want to stay here. And we saw in that episode, a few episodes back, how that didn't turn out so great for them. Verse 16, the Lord said to Moses, these are the names of the men who are to assign the land for you as an inheritance, Eleazar the priest and Joshua son of Nun, and appoint one leader from each of the tribe to help assign the land. These are their names: Caleb son of Jephunneh from the tribe of Judah. Caleb is like the only one of the 2 guys still alive from the 12 spies. Shemuel son of Amihud from the tribe of Simeon. Elidad son of Kishlon from the tribe of Benjamin. Bakuel son of Jogli, the leader from the tribe of Dan. Haniel, son of Ephod, the leader of the tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph. Gamul, son of Sephan, the leader from the tribe of Ephraim, son of Joseph. Elisaphan, son of Paranic, the leader from the tribe of Zebulun. Paltiel, son of Azan, the leader from the tribe of Issachar. Adahud, son of Shemalai, the leader from the tribe of Asher. Padahal, son of Amminadab, the leader from the tribe of Naphtali. These are the men the Lord commanded to assign the inheritance to the Israelites in the land of Canaan. I read all this to show you these are that God gave the boundaries to the people of Israel, and He said, "This is the boundaries." Now, if you just read this and you don't read any further, and quite a ways into the New Testament, all the way through the Kings, you would think the people went in and they just occupied all this land like God had said, and everything was fine. Well, when you continue reading, you'll find out that the people of Israel did not occupy all the land. In fact, when you read some of the book of Judges and stuff, you find like, wow, these people, they get to an area and they're supposed to occupy this land, and they say, oh, but these people wanted to stay there. Well, of course the people wanted to stay there, but you had to move them out. And so they would compromise and they would let the people live there, or they would go, the people of Israel would go live someplace else that was easier to get, all kinds of stuff that they did, and not occupying the land that God had given them. They never ever do completely occupy all that land that God had given them, because they didn't take possession of the land. They didn't get rid of the people and the idols and everything else that they were supposed to, like God commanded. So in your life, again, you got to get rid of, this represents, when you're not occupying and taking everything God has given you, you're allowing some of the stuff that should have been destroyed to be in there. And it's like that in our lives. We don't allow God to have everything of my life. We want to keep some areas of our life, and that ends up in disaster. We talked about that in the past episodes, how that ended in disaster like that. God gave them all this land, but they didn't occupy it. So look in your life. God has given you a whole lot, but you need to occupy it. Hey, thank you for watching. I am a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through the book of Numbers. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.